Hi, we are live again. We're live again on YouTube and Facebook. We're enjoying this whole go live thing. I love the interactiveness of it, and Nigel loved the comments and questions. And so will Chris. So our next guest is Chris Gauthier from Yorkville Sound. They distribute another slew of products that Connor's Music has fallen in love with and stocks. So he's going to take you through some different products and chat. And so throw questions at him. We're going to try to put them up on the screen as we can and make sure we keep this a live and interactive. So again, if you're watching at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you're live. If you're watching it after that, then you're not live. But without further ado, please welcome to the live stream, Chris Gauthier. How's it going?
Hey, woo, woo, woo. Hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
This is awesome.
I'm just making sure I'm sharing everything here on the
old... did I bring you in too soon? I didn't give you enough
Nope.
time to share.
I think I got it. I'm talking back to myself here, so that's a good sign.
That's all good. Yeah. Yeah, that is that odd feeling if you bring up to share and you see the video playing, you're like, there's me talking.
Yeah.
A little delayed. Yeah. But yeah, we got lots of viewers. I can see the count is flying up there, so people are excited about Chris Gauthier and Yorkville Sound, clearly.
Good stuff, man. I was super pumped to do this with you guys again. We did it last year for
yeah, we did.
For Midnight Madness.
We were insane last year. We did a marathon live stream all day. We do not have the manpower to do that this year, so we did a live stream event at 10. We got you at 11. We got some actual live in-person music happening, weather permitting, on site here, and then the sale till midnight. That's enough of a marathon, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think running from 9 a.m. to 12 midnight is a marathon in itself.
Exactly. So I think this works well. But yeah, you were part of the big marathon last year, and then this year, one of our featured presenters.
I'm proud and happy to be here.
Awesome. I think I'm going to give you the stream, Chris, and just take it away. And like I said, people, put your comments, questions in. Chris is happy to answer them. Right?
You got it. I'm just looking at all my screens here and making sure things are running. It looks like it's working. So
yeah, you're sounding good. You're looking good. Here it is. Chris Gauthier, full screen.
Thanks, John. Hey, everybody. How are you? Good to be here again, of course. I'm super pumped. It's always a great chance to chat and say hello to everybody here in Facebook land and YouTube land and Connor's Music land. Connor's is a great family music store that we at Yorkville have been working with for many years now, and I'm excited to be here again. So anyway, I'll get on with some of the things I want to present to you and such. If you don't know who I am, my name's Chris Gauthier. I work for Yorkville Sound. I'm the sales representative for Eastern Ontario. And I visit dealerships and talk about product and show off some of the cool new gadgets that we have. And that's what I'm going to do here today with a few different items for you. As John said, you are welcome to make comments, post comments in the side here on the app. And I should be able to see them. And if I see them, I will answer right away. And if I don't see them, John will chime in at some point and read them off to me. So we'll, and comments, questions, whatever you want to talk about. It's totally cool. Yeah. So first things first, welcome to my home studio. It's all about home studio this year. That's for sure. And last year. It's wild how much the world has changed and how much our music passion projects have changed as well. So not only are you working on new songs, writing and preparing to play live, and live performances are starting to happen again, which is amazing. But a huge part of it is being able to track or being able to record yourself and the songs you've written and practices and jams, lots of video and filming happening too, because you can make some amazing content right at home. So I want to talk a little bit about home studio products that we handle through Yorkville Sound, through Connor's Music and music stores like Connor's. who really dive in and support the brand. So first things first, a brand that's really close to my heart. Wait a minute. Let me back up a little bit here. In-store question. Hey, ho, hey. Is the Aston Original an omnidirectional mic? Can it do that? Well, no, it doesn't fully omnidirectional. It is a cardioid pattern. I'm just looking to see and make sure there's, yeah, no, it's cardioid pattern. So if you were to look down on the top, you're going to see a pattern mainly from the front of the microphone, and then it sort of couples in at the back here, and it looks like a heart. That's why they call it a cardioid or heart shaped, something like that. So it's not omni, it's not adjustable. There is another model that can do more polar pattern switching called the Spirit, and that's a different level of microphone, but I'll get to that in a little bit when I hit Aston products. First, I want to start with chatting about ART, which stands for Applied Research and Technology. So this is a brand of solution products or production products, home recording, live, but it's all about you have a problem, let's fix this problem. And it's a line that is really close to my heart because it is a home brand or a house brand for Yorkville, something that we created back in the 80s and have been developing ever since. ART is actually based out of our our Rochester, New York, Niagara Falls, New York office. And that's where a lot of the design happens, and some design here in Pickering, Ontario as well. But ART is just that great solution line. It's affordable. It's can be simple if you want a product that is simple, because there's the Project Series, which is more of a simple home base kind of a product. And there's the Pro Series of ART. If you want to learn more about ART products, you can go to our website, which is artproaudio.com. And of course, Connors has links to that. And they also have a lot of a lot of ART products in stock and featured on their website as well. Sipping a little bit of coffee. I hope you don't mind. Got to stay warm and cozy this time of year. So first things first, ART. I want to show you what I'm going through right now. When you're doing home recording or video conferencing or any form of production where you need audio to go into your computer, mainly home recording in this case and video conferencing today, you need a source. The source is me talking, blah, blah, blah. A microphone, which is kind of also the source. It could be a guitar. It could be a keyboard. It could be an electric drum kit, microphones on a real drum kit, a bass into a DI, you name it. That's your source. Then you need to patch it in to the computer. But the computer speaks digital language, and the source often is an analog language. You need to convert analog to digital, and then vice versa, back out to listen to it, digital to analog to come through your speakers or your headphones. So an interface is the term we're going to chat about today. That is what does this. An interface makes the conversion for you, allows you to plug right into that computer, record and track what you are doing, or in this case, speaking, and then monitor it and listen to it right back out the other end. And you've heard people refer to a digital audio workstation. That's another phrase that comes up, or a DAW, DAW. That is simply software, a computer program that allows you to manipulate the audio that you're putting into the computer. So the interface is hardware. It's an actual unit. And the DAW is your software. I hope I'm not being too detailed or not detailed enough. Let me know in the comments. And I am not a recording expert by any means, but I'm excited about it now because I have really dove into it, especially over the pandemic. I found a new passion for doing recording, and I'm enjoying it myself. And I got to give a big shout out to my sales manager, Ray, who has totally helped me develop that drive to to want to learn recording for myself. So I'm pretty pumped about that. He runs an excellent recording 101 class or program, an educational program about recording and home recording. And at some point we'll host that when we can get more people packed into the store at Connor's. We should totally do that. Or Ray, if you're listening right now, we'll get you to do a live one like this through Connor's, because that would be awesome. Anyway, I'm good at the blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to, this might look weird, but I'm doing this in real time because I'm actually using it. Let's go down here. You can see this fella right here to my left is one of my most prized possessions. And this is a product that Connor's Music stocks regularly. We have them in stock at Yorkville right now too. An excellent Christmas time gift, but just great for everything. This is my home studio control center, I like to call it. This is what's called the USB Mix 6. And essentially, I've got multiple inputs, a few different channels, including 2 proper mic pre XLR channels. I go into said mixer, out USB at the back here, right into the side of my laptop. And that's it. I'm able to do all my production I need to, including video conferencing like we're doing today, all with this one mixer unit. And as a bonus, I'm able to monitor out right here. These are the monitor main outputs. And I can pop these 1/4-inch cables right into my, let's go up here, Yorkville YSM5 studio monitors. I have them off right now so I don't get feedback while I'm talking to you. But a set of 5-inch studio monitors, self-powered. So this unit allows me to monitor direct, go right into my computer. I have an actual monitor jack here too for headphones, which is a super awesome feature because then you're able to listen real time to what you're putting into the interface. So you can have the headphones on while you're playing and hear yourself just by adjusting the monitor level on the headphones. I like this particular unit because you probably see a bunch of other jacks coming and going out of this. I have my old school CD player. That's right, a compact disc player into this channel. And then a RCA cable coming out of my record player, my phono right here, so I can listen to records. And then it's all controlled through this. The audio from my computer, so I can listen to iTunes or watch YouTube on my computer, comes into channel 5 when I depress this button. And I can also plug in another aux cable, pop into here, and also mix from my phone. So it's a total audio workstation altogether here in its true form. That's why I love this fella. One more bonus feature. Because I've got these main outputs here in 1/4-inch, there ain't nothing wrong with bringing this out to a gig and plugging 1/4-inch passive patch cables right into my powered battery-powered speakers, and this becomes a live mixer for me too. So it's a do-all product. Let me come back up here. That's the USB Mix 6. We have a few different versions of the USB mixers. I hope that transferred well. Did you guys see and hear that? Did it look okay? It wasn't too confusing and mumble jumble? And you can hear me okay still? Check 1, 2. Hey. Anybody throw a little comment in there just to make sure you can hear if you'd like. Moving on. Let me just put my check 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it's working still. Okay. The USB Mix 6 is a 6-channel mixer, and that sells regularly on the floor at a music store. Thanks, Kevin. For $219. Thanks, Gary. These guys are telling me they can hear it okay, so that's awesome. we have a 4-channel version of said mixer, and then a single channel version of said mixer. That would be great for this type of application where you're just speaking one channel, or if you are running your own podcasts, because that's a great project. People have started doing podcasts or recording audio readings to create audiobooks, which is pretty cool too. So there's lots of fun projects that people are doing. I guess that's one of the neat things that have come out of the pandemic, is that it's helped people realize that you could really be creative at home with some amazing, affordable electronics, and you don't have to break the bank. So moving on a little bit from the mixers, I'm going to show you this little fella, this gadget right here. I've had this for years, and we still sell it because it's super awesome and it just plain works. This is the Head Amp 4. And I'm going to give you guys a second here. If anybody's watching, make a comment and tell me what you think this is, without reading the name on it, the description. I'm watching the comments. Head Amp 4. Can anybody guess? Well, I'm going to dive in. Good question. We know what an amp head is, but what is a head amp? That makes sense. Well, not like an amp head. This is a headphone amplifier. And I was using this last night doing some recording at my buddy's house. So if you got more than just yourself recording, tracking, or listening, monitoring in any way, if you have more than just one person, how are those other folks going to hear? Well, you take your monitor out / headphone out of your interface. You'd pop in with a TRS stereo cable into one of these 2 jacks here, splits the signal over 4 outputs here, and you have 4 individual headphone monitor channels, which is pretty awesome. Like I said, I get excited about this. I've had it for years, and every time I pull it out, it's like, yes, this thing is fun. You got lots of gain. Oh, and it's amp. It is a little amplifier, so it does boost the signal, so you can actually really hear what's going on. And each person can choose how loud they want it. Because if the drummer's drumming, they need a little bit more juice, then they can mix that themselves. Or if you're playing a soft finger picking guitar, you can dial it right back. So yeah, and it's got both 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch outs, which is pretty sweet. It's a great little fella. And believe it or not, this guy hits the floor at $89 and comes with the power supply that's needed. So little side note there. Great studio tool, especially if you have a couple players with you. A lot of these items are in the project series, and a lot of the project series from ART, the way these are designed, this funky little box design here, actually, I don't have another one with me, but it allows for them to pile up these little rubber feet on the side, slot in perfectly on the top of the other unit so that you can really make a cool, funky little stack on your desk. So they slot together, which is pretty rad. I feel like a cool YouTuber. This is nifty. Let's move on to the next thing right now. This is something I'm extremely excited about because we just got them in stock. Yes, we did wait for a little while. It took a little while to get them, but they are here. This is probably the coolest, newest interface from ART that you could hope for, look for. This is more of I'm going to say more of a current or modern style of a desktop interface. There's 2 of them. This one is called the USB 2 by ART. You can see the silk screening on the top there. It's built, first of all, it's built metal chassis, super strong aluminum sides. So great for moving around and carrying around to buddies' houses while you're tracking different instruments and such. This is the 2. We also have a 4, 2-channel, 4-channel. Pardon me. This is even simpler than that mixer I showed you. So this is, pardon me, absolutely ideal for anybody wanting to get into home recording of any kind, whether it be podcasting, video conferencing like we're doing, or just recording music into your computer. This takes analog, switches it to digital, into digital, back out into your speakers. So A to D, D to A. And it's got 32-bit converters. So the sound quality is really high. So it's a good quality sounding unit too. So very current, very modern, nice and loud, but not like clipping. So you can adjust all that on these knobs. There's actually LED lights around the knobs. So as you are inputting, signal, they'll light up from green to yellow to red, and red is when you're clipping. You always want to try and get, although with digital, not as much, but you want to try and just touch a little bit of yellow. That's it. That's all you need. So if you see just all green flashing, but a hint of yellow, then that's okay, probably. So that's the gain input on both of these channels, left and right, 1 and 2. Here's your output level. And I say output level because you can go 1/4-inch TRS cables, balance cables, into your studio monitors. So like I said before, you can monitor in real time what you're putting into the unit, so it sounds proper to you. This is a low latency unit with low latency ASIO for all drivers. There is, ASIO driver. I got carried away with the for all part. I wanted to let you know too that it actually comes with a DAW, because if you're going to go buy this and say, all right, I'm going to start recording, it's time to record. Going to Connors, going to get myself a proper interface that sounds nice, good quality, plug in my laptop. Then what? You need to control and manipulate your audio that you're putting into the computer. And that is probably going to be a digital audio workstation. We have chosen and worked with the people from Steinberg, and we've got Cubase packaged with this, Cubase LE. So more of a basic level of the Cubase program. I run the Cubase Elements program, which is basically the same. I love the system. I'm starting to learn it, and so far so good. And it comes packaged with this. So all you need to do is head to the store, look for your ART box, packaged with Cubase LE. If you walk out with this box, as long as you have a microphone or patch cables from your guitar directly in, you can start recording that day. So it's pretty sweet. USB 2 and USB 4. Pricing on these guys, I'll tell you right now, that the USB 2 is $199 on the floor. And Connors folks have it in stock. And rumor has it there may be a good deal to be had if you're in the store. So, make sure that and Connors is featuring this item during Midnight Madness. So make sure you call them up, email them, Facebook them, but head on over and pick yourself up an interface. Yes. Just got a question from Connors, which is cool because this is my next category. Follow up on the first question. Right on. Let me just pop over. Hope you don't mind. I'm just going to double check before I say things. Aston microphone line. So you can see I'm talking into a pretty sweet, cool, funky looking microphone. Let's find it here. There it is. Aston Microphones is a really cool company that builds microphones in the UK. They're based out of the UK and they build these microphones there as well, which is super awesome. Let me just find what I'm looking for here. Sorry. Omnidirectional. So the mic that I'm using right now is the, there it is, totally omnidirectional. All right. The mic that I'm using today is the Origin, and the Origin is the microphone that started. It was the first microphone for the company. This microphone is designed to be a direct replication of the item you are intending, or the source you're intending to duplicate into your audio. So it's the most truest sounding original sound to the source, which is why it is a select choice for songwriters, for acoustic guitar players, violin players, any sort of style where you really want to replicate the true tone of that item. I've tried a lot of mics in this price point, in this style, and this has got to be my favorite microphone. I've been doing some recording with it and having a great time. So the basic design of an Aston microphone is that it's a solid steel, galvanized steel tube. You can see there is, I'll try not to touch it too much so it's not noisy. There is, you see this copper wire sort of shielding around it. This is actually called a diffuser. So what's happening is, it's different than a pop filter. It's catching some of the buzz and the was and different sounds that are maybe too aggressive. So not actually hitting the diaphragm, but making sort of an aggressive hit or an aggressive tone, and they're diffusing them a little bit so that they spread it open a little bit before it goes into the, it cuts them basically before it goes into the diaphragm. So it's diffusing the sound a little bit, which is nice just to soften it up. And then all the Aston mics do have a built-in pop filter. So you can see sort of a silvery mesh in there. That is, in fact, a pop filter. So you can just grab the mic and go. You don't need to necessarily bring a pop filter. It's also direct stand mount. So maybe I will do this. Tell me if it sounds too noisy and weird. But I'm going to be crazy here. Oh my gosh. Is that horrible sounding, everyone? Let me show you what we're doing here. If you look at the bottom, you can, there you go. You can actually mount directly to your mic stand with this microphone, which is awesome too. So you don't even need a cradle or a shock mount. It's internally shock mounted too. So the microphone is on a little bit of the diaphragm is on a bit of a suspension inside, so it doesn't. You can have it directly on the stand and knock the stand, and it won't be so noisy. So that's low noise. Oh, get back in my shock mount. But because I tend to be a little particular, I bought myself the Aston Swift shock mount that really isolates the microphone so it's not bouncing around and thumping around while you're using it. This particular microphone has two options on it. There is a low frequency roll off switch, which I'm not going to do right now. But what happens is, this is nice if you're recording voice, or if you're recording acoustic guitar and you intend to have bass in the mix later, or anything that may be a woofy or a heavy low sounding instrument, or if you are, say, recording some vocal and there is a low hum in the background from your air conditioner or something like that, you can hit the low frequency roll off switch, and that's going to cut anything below a certain frequency out of the mix, so you don't hear that, which is nice. So if you are recording a voice and you don't need that low rumble to the vocal, pardon me, you can roll that off You're not going to miss anything from your voice, but you're going to get rid of any low sounds that are around you too, like an air conditioning, or if your toe is tapping on the microphone stand or something like that. I hope I'm describing that properly. And then the other switch brings me back to, or sorry, there is another switch on the other microphone, which is a polar pattern switch. Polar pattern is the pickup range of the diaphragm of the microphone in general. In this case, it's a single polar pattern option, which is a cardioid. And if you were to look down on the top of the microphone and could see the pickup pattern, it's mainly the front part of the diaphragm that's picking up the audio. So the sound waves, and it kind of draws a bit of a heart shape around the front of the microphone. So that's why it's called a cardioid. And then in the next microphone, different level of microphone, different style of microphone, is called the Spirit. And the Spirit microphone has omnidirectional. It is omnidirectional, so you're able to change the polar pattern so that you can pick up different setups. Now that would be great, as the question was there, in the form of multiple people standing around singing, because you're going to pick up more range around the microphone. A figure 8 pattern, fully omnidirectional, or unidirectional in the form of a cardioid. So you can pick up people from all the way around singing. You can pick up multiple guitars firing at each other. It's very commonly used if you're recording in a room that has some nice wood in the corner or something, and you get that real nice room reverb coming back at you, and you want to hear some of that reverb in the room, then you can click on that omnidirectional button and choose the directional pattern and the polar pattern that you want to hear, which is pretty cool. That's in the Spirit, and the Spirit actually has a transformer in it, so it's a microphone that's slightly juiced. You're going to see a little bit more presence, a little bit more push, a little bit more coloring in the tone. It like I said, it juices up the tone, juices up the signal. It gets a little more happening in it, basically, if you're looking for that. And like I said, polar pattern option. It's a bigger microphone. A little bit of a bigger price tag too, because of that transformer. This Origin sells for $379, which is a great price, and especially for a British-made unit. And Connors has these microphones. They have a lot of different Aston microphones in stock, including the Element. I don't have an Element with me here, but Element was a microphone that Aston calls it the people's microphone, which is pretty cool. It was designed and researched with people of the Aston family around the world. People commented, spoke to them, and gave in their ideas on what they would like to see in a microphone. And they've made a really nice, affordable, I could say entry level, but I don't have to say entry level, affordable microphone that you can get into the Aston market with. So check that out too at Connors. It's called the Element. I'll tell you a little bit of pricing here. Yeah, the Aston Origin, which is this guy, is $379 on the floor. Then I mentioned the Swift, and if you can see this is a really cool cradle or shock mount. Really strong and reliable. One thing I really like about up here is that when you tighten the thumb screw, you're really tightening in on that platform of the shock mount, so it doesn't sag down as you're recording. That always happens in a lot of more basic design shock mounts. This guy is nice and tight, really reliable. It's like a spider web rubber suspension on here too, which isolates the microphone fully. The actual unit here, the actual construction of this shock mount is made from a aluminum and glass fill nylon. So it's super lightweight and super strong. So very reliable shock mount. One other, it's $99, the shock mount on the floor, which is pretty cool. It's called the Swift. The last Aston piece I wanted to tell you about, I know because I believe Connors has this one in stock too, is called the Halo. Believe it or not, despite Aston being a really successful microphone company, they have created one of the most popular, if not the best, reflection filters in the market. So, without going into too much detail, because I want you guys to check it out at the store, and I don't have one here. The Halo is a reflection filter. A reflection filter is when you're recording, you can probably hear it in this room right now, slap back off of the drywall walls. I'm hearing it coming off of the window that's just above me here. So sound waves are going out of my mouth or out of my instrument, bouncing off of items around and firing back at me. You need to input soft materials to absorb those sound waves. That's how you're going to isolate or dampen the sound so that later on when you're manipulating your audio in your DAW, you're able to adjust and change the EQ, change the effects, how you actually truly want it to sound. This is if you don't like the sound of your room. Not don't like it. Or this is like if you do hear too much slapback or feedback or issue like that. So you want to get a reflection filter that isolates the microphone. It hugs it and keeps it in its own little zoom in its own little zone. Woo. You've probably seen, maybe you've gone to studios that have a isolated vocal booth. You've seen it on TV, I'm sure, where the artist will go into just like, it looks like a little closet, but it's filled with foam all the way around, thick, what do you call it? Insulation in between the walls, maybe a glass so you can see the engineer, maybe not. Just a real tight little sound quiet room. So you can quiet it right down and collect the audio signal that you really want to get, which generally is pretty dry because then you can later on adjust it how you want it. That's the intent there. Anyway, there's lots of reflection filters on the market. Aston makes theirs out of recycled plastic water bottles, which is pretty cool. Something else that makes the Aston Halo so different than any other reflection filter is that it has diffuser built right into the back of the filter. So just like these diffusers here, it's sort of the audio wave will go in and split up and diffuse itself a little bit. And it does just that, splits it up and traps itself in that wall of protection. Being recycled plastic bottles, it's almost fibrous looking or fibrous feeling. So it's a soft material. So when the sound waves hit this fiber, it absorbs it and stops it dead there. The big trick, I think, with the Halo is that most reflection filters are horizontal. They cover a horizontal coverage. I mean, you picture singing like this. This makes sense. You're going to stop it like this, right? The Halo actually horizontal and vertical coverage. So it's almost like a half moon or like a bowl. It's like a bowl that you're putting in front of the microphone or putting the microphone into and then singing into it. So you'll know when you see it. It's a big purple egg looking item. They also make a black one called the Shadow if you're not into the purple. But I believe Connors has one in stock right now. You should definitely check it out. Check out the Aston website. The Halo sells for $3.99. It's not a cheap item, but you'll see it's probably the best reflection filter on the market. Moving right along. Any more comments, questions here? No, I think we're okay. I'm watching. Perfect. Okay. Everybody having fun? I hope you're digging this. I am going to move on to one of my more favorite sections, which is talking about guitars. Hang on. So, a brand that Yorkville Sound has been distributing for many, many years is the Epiphone brand of guitars. And Connors has been an Epiphone dealership for many years now, too. And it's always a super fun line to get behind. People really enjoy the brand, the design, the look, the feel, good quality guitars at an affordable price. And I'm going to show you one today. So this guy here is part of the new, relatively new, Inspired by Gibson collection or design. Inspired by Gibson. It's part of that feel, or inspired by classics, old style designs. The Inspired by series is all about classic original designs from the 50s and 60s, which is like the top cream of the crop era of Epiphone and Gibson guitars. Gibson owns Epiphone. It's part of their family of brands. And they really want to bring forth the fact that Epiphone can be maybe a stepping stone into another Gibson guitar, or it could also be its own historic brand long before Gibson owned them in the 60s. So Epiphone is its own iconic brand, and Gibson wants to sort of bring that back, the historic feel there with the Inspired by collection. This fella here incorporates the Kalamazoo headstock, and as you can see, that's a very old school design shape that is Gibson-ish, Gibson-esque, because back in the day, it looked like this. It's an old school Kalamazoo, which is the factory in Michigan where they used to make Gibson and Epiphone guitars. Anyway, that's not that part of it. This particular guy here is called the Crestwood Custom. This is in antique white. It's almost got a bit of a pinkish, sort of a creamy pink hue to it. This is one of the craziest things that you probably notice right away is this is a symmetrical double cut horns. So at first, when you're playing it, it feels like the bottom horn is actually bigger than the top. And when it's sitting like this, it kind of looks like that, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. It's symmetrical. Double cut. You don't honestly see that in guitars too much. Strats, Les Pauls, SGs even, which are a double cut guitar, the top horn is often bigger than the bottom horn. So it's kind of a weird thing. We're so used to seeing guitars like that. This can throw you off when you're playing it, but it's a cool design. This goes back to 1958. The Crestwood, the Wilshire, and the Coronet all came out in that year. And that's what these guitars are. I think they're super funky, really cool. They're available in white and cherry red, which is like a dark, deep red. Super cool. Some features on this guitar, just so you get what's going on here, is it's got the trematone, tremolo bar. I'll bring it up nice and close. Oops, bring it up nice and close for you. You can see what this is doing. And as you pick the strings, play on the wiggle stick, as they call it, it's spring loaded here, and it's rolling the tailpiece, which allows the strings to loosen and tighten as you manipulate it with the bar. This is something I've never really seen on a trem bar either. You can adjust the length of this trem bar, which is super cool. You can see there's a bolt here, and then there's multiple holes here. So you could change the length of that trem bar, which is neat. So if you are doing some real finger picking and you're that kind of style, or you strum heavy and you don't like having the bar sticking all the way out here, you can actually shorten the bar so it's not in your way. So that's kind of cool. It's got mini humbuckers, Epiphone Pro mini humbuckers. So different sound. They are humbuckers. They're just small, a little plunkier sounding maybe. The neck is a C profile, which just like that, if you were to look at it from straight on like that without the headstock there, you would see that the diameter is in the shape of a C, symmetrical profile. And then what else we got going on? Then the fretboard, Gibson and Epiphone are trying to get away from using too much rosewood. Rosewood is a little tougher to come by, older, more expensive, tougher to ship, all the rest of it. So they've come across a really excellent wood that is pretty well the same. It's a tone wood, and it's called Indian Laurel. So this is Indian Laurel fretboard. And you'll notice a lot of Gibson and Epiphone guitars having Indian Laurel on them. And that's totally cool wood. What else we got going on? Oh, yeah. In relation to the tailpiece, you'll notice that the saddles are actually white. That's because they are Graphtec Tusk saddles. This allows the strings to move, loosen, and tighten freely and slide inside the saddle grooves without getting hung up and getting caught up. If you have metal saddles and you have this style of bar, it can be difficult. I mean, it's still around. It's very common to have that, but it can become a problem where you get little burrs or fraying happening in the metal inside the groove of the saddle. And that can catch the string. It can keep your string out of tune. It can also damage the string. It can make you more prone to breaking strings. And you also hear those little bing, 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 ping, ping when you're using your wiggle stick. So very quiet tremolo bar, which is really cool. I know my old school Bigsby style one I have on my Les Paul, you totally hear the ping, 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 ping because it's got metal saddles. I could change that if I want to, but I probably should at some point. It would be a lot smoother. It would stay in tune. But that's one feature there. You can see it's a clear pickguard, and that is the same as on the Cherry one too, so you can really see the red. And it's got the oval inlays, which kind of match this wild and crazy symmetrical horn style. And of course, the bikini badge, which is a real old school 1950s style Epiphone badge that's screwed into the headstock. There's no mistaking that when it's hanging on the wall. This guitar sells for $7.99 on the floor. One big thing that Epiphone has done is really stepped up, gone into that next level of research and design, listening to customers worldwide. They're using top-notch components like the CTS audio taper pots. So when you are truly sweeping through your volume, it's a proper volume sweep. It doesn't go from 1 to 10. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You'll know when you feel it. They're just using top-notch components and quality woods, quality pickups, quality electronics, and it allows for Epiphone to be the utmost best I think it's ever been for quality control. These instruments are beautiful coming out right out of the factory. They check them overseas at their own factory, of course. Gibson owns their own Epiphone factory. And then when it arrives in Pickering, Ontario, which is where we warehouse these products, we have a whole team of quality control technicians that adjust this guitar, tweak it, just check it all out before it leaves our facility and heads to the music store. So you can always rely on an Epiphone being in great shape by the time it gets here. Let's say we crank it up a little bit here. Bear with me a sec. I think we're in tune. How's that, guys? Make a little comment below. Let me know if you can hear the guitar. I've got a microphone one of my Apex mics on my trainer amp here. Sounds great, says Kevin. Thanks, buddy. So we're in the neck pickup. Little plunkier, a little thicker sounding, a little rounder sounding. Let's go to both bridge and neck pickup combined. Hi, Dave. The inlays are mother of pearl. Really smooth. And the bridge pickup. A little cruncher, a little more direct, a little more punchy in the face. Let's dirty it up a little bit, shall we? I hope that's not overdriving in your computer speakers. Let's have a little fun here, shall we? One of the things that I'm noticing with these pickups is they're very responsive, very tight, very direct. And as I play, there's a bright bite to them, even though they're humbuckers, which is cool. It's probably the mini humbuckers. There's not a lot of wind, and there's not probably a lot of wax. Anyway, the Crestwood Custom. Again, you can find it in the other versions, which is the Coronet and the Wilshire. I think I'm going to say, oh yeah, $7.99, of course, on the floor. I don't think there's one of those at Connors at the moment. We have some in stock at Yorkville. I have this one right here. I can personally vouch for the fact that it plays and feels killer. So if anybody wants to take advantage of the great deals at Connors this weekend or at any time, let the guys know at the store, And I'm going to be seeing John later this week. So I will happily drop this off for someone at the store later this week. Yeah. So I think I got to say thanks, Kevin, for the comment on the loop. I'm glad that worked out okay. I got to say thank you so much. I don't know if John's around, if he wants to come back in. If he is, awesome. If he's not, then I may leave the studio soon. But, I want to say happy Midnight Madness and happy Halloween. And thank you so much for Connor's Music. Awesome family for having me on here. And keep playing, everybody. It's only going to get better. We're on the right side of this thing, and I think we're moving in the right direction. And there's lots and lots of music to be played. So stay tuned. Tune in yourself. Get creative. And we'll see you guys again soon sometime in Keswick. So all the best. My name's Chris Gauthier for Yorkville Sound and Connor's Music. Peace.